Om Shri Sai Ram. I offer my most humble pranams at the lotus feet of beloved Bhagwan. Dear Swami, respected elders, dear brothers and sisters, 12th of September 2010. It was a very special day for many of us in Prashanthi Nilayam at that time. The students who had decided and who had been blessed by Swami to stay back in Prashanthi Nilayam or Vrindavan or in his various institutions and work for Swami directly, all of us called ourselves as Sai Sannidhi, meaning the divine proximity of Swami, the Sai Sannidhi group. And every year, one day, we would celebrate a Sai Sannidhi Day. Swami was extremely gracious in permitting us to celebrate it, I think 2008, 2009, 2010, 3 years, or maybe even 2007 for 4 years. That year in 2010, some of the elder brothers of the group said that, see, Swami always emphasizes on gratitude, especially towards parents. This year for Sai Sannidhi Day, can we bring our parents to Swami and seek Swami's blessings? When this idea was conveyed to Swami, Swami was very enthusiastic. He said, yes. On the 11th of September, I still remember, after the bhajan got over, I was sitting in the front and I was taking photographs with my camera. Swami turned towards me and said, tomorrow, Repu, parents, Purna Chandra. Swami said, tomorrow in Purna Chandra, parents. It was so sweet to see that excitement in Swami. See, we have excitement. Tomorrow in the Purna Chandra auditorium, Swami is going to come and, bless us, whatever, something is going to happen. Swami also exuding that excitement. See, so lost I am in thinking that I love Swami and I am pining for him, I am craving for him, I am yearning for him. I forget that he yearns for me, craves for me, pines for me even more than that. When I look forward to seeing him, he is looking forward to see me with much more vigor, enthusiasm and joy. So the next day, on the 12th, we were all seated there. Neat blocks had been made, numbered, and each one of us had been given a number. Me and my parents, we were number 127, so one block with tape had been put in Purna Chandra auditorium. We were seated there. And Swami began from number 1, 2, 3, he would go. He was being wheeled on the chair and slowly Swami was interacting with different students and their parents. It took almost 45 minutes for him to come near us, near 127, where me and my parents were seated. Sometime I just thought, let me brief my parents, prepare them. This is a great opportunity, especially my mother. My mother had never till then got an opportunity to speak to Swami or, get this one-on-one kind of interaction. So I told my mother, this is a wonderful opportunity, don't let go of it. Ask Swami whatever you want. She asked, what should I ask? Tell me, what should I ask? I said, Mom, Amma, that is something that is private between you and Swami. You ask whatever you want. Don't even take my suggestion. You ask. She said, okay, I'll ask. So then, as I went around photographing, I saw Swami was interacting with all the students, with all the parents. Every one of them were talking to Swami, asking him various things. Suddenly one thought struck me. So I went back to my mother. I was in the middle of photographing, walking, but I walked back to my mother and I said, Mom, I asked her, what are you planning to ask? She gave back my answer to me. She said, you only told that it's between you and Swami, so I don't want to tell. I'll ask him directly. I was caught. So I said, okay, mother, you can ask whatever. But in this place there are 160 people, 160 families are sitting here and everybody is asking. Ask something unique or something special so that, it sticks to Swami's mind. Again Maya. Let me take a little detour here and go back to possibly 2003 or 2002. During a Trai session, I wrote a letter to Swami. And in that letter, I had started by telling, Swami, I don't have any problem. I don't have anything to ask from you because everything is fine by your grace. But I feel like writing this letter because, I want to be in the top of your mind awareness. That's a marketing term, Every advertiser or every marketer wants to keep advertising and marketing because they want the product to remain in the customer's top of the mind awareness. And having read that in some textbook, I wrote that. I said, Swami, I'm writing this letter to you so that I remain in your top of the mind awareness. That day when Swami came and sat on the Jhula, one rare opportunity, one rare occasion where he accepted my letter. And to make the occasion even more special, on the Jhula, Swami opened that letter and began to read it right in front of me there. And I felt, wow. And Swami read it for about 5 seconds. He must have completed that first sentence where I had written that, Swami, I have no reason to write this, but I am writing so that I can remain in the top of your mind awareness. Swami was reading the letter. He got a smile on his face. Closed it within 5 seconds. He looked at me and then right in front of me, tore it, shredded it to pieces and put it down. Everybody thought that I had written something terrible. I realized that I had written something very stupid. Swami doesn't require reminders for us to be in the top of his mind awareness. Once we tell Swami we want you and Swami accepts us, we may forget him, he won't forget. In fact, there is this lovely app called Ask Swami. I don't know if it's there in iOS, but in Android it is there. Answers from Swami. Basically, different messages from Swami, they put it randomly and you can randomly select, like how it's a modern version of picking chits. So I opened this app and I pressed the message to see what is the message. The message that came was, the difference between God and man is that even if man forgets to remember God, God never forgets to remember man. That's what it is. We don't need to remind Swami to keep us in the top of his mind awareness. We have to remind ourselves to keep him in the top of our mind awareness because we forget him. Anyway, this is what I had told my mother. And when Swami came close to us, Swami interacted with my father, with me, and what was said and spoken is possibly subject of some other talk. Then my mother, I was waiting to see what she'll ask. She tells Swami, Swami, I want to cook food for you. Will you consume it? I was like, oh God, what did you ask? In my mind, I was thinking, what did you ask? I told you to ask for something grand, glorious. There's a single opportunity, and you're asking for cooking for him. What? And Swami replied, definitely not now, later. And my mother said, thank you, Swami, and sat back. And as Swami proceeded front, I said, Mother, what you asked? Yeah, I want to cook for him. I want him to partake. I said, in my mind, I was thinking practically, at that time already about 20-30 people were sending food to Swami. And Swami barely eats anything. So I was wondering, where will my mother be able to send food to Swami? I said, Amma, I don't know now if you can send. She said, not now, later. Swami said, later he will give the chance. So it's okay. This was September 2010. 6 months later, March 2011, Swami was taken to the hospital. April 2011, Swami left the physical. And I told my mother, see mom, I think you should see Swami in each one of us, make us happy with your food. Though she was very adamant and refusing to accept that, I think finally she also accepted it. She said, yeah, I think that's what Swami meant possibly. So whenever I would relish the food or my father would relish the food, she would feel, yeah, I am feeding Swami. But Swami never forgets. Swami never forgets. What happened for a couple of months after that, unforgettable. Swami came in my wife's dream and told her that you're not keeping food for me, I am very hungry. So from that day onwards, in a silver plate, we would keep food for Swami and keep it in the altar. And then it started. When you keep food there, vibhuti would manifest on the food. On the upma, on the semia, on the dosa. I remember once masala dosa. For those who don't know, masala dosa is a dosa in which there is potato curry filling. My mother made masala dosa and kept. The potato filling, the masala is missing, and in its place is vibhuti. Wow. And my mother said, see, Swami told me later I'll consume, and he's consuming. She was so thrilled with joy. As I said, it went on for a couple of months. After that, it stopped. But once Swami gives a word, he never goes back on it. If at all Swami has ever told us, I will take care of you, rest assured that it holds good till my last breath of my last janma, not just this birth. Because I may forget, Swami will never forget.